Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so he found himself still with too many questions and not enough answers. This quote is from a book I recently read called The Long Walk by Stephen King. The storyline goes like this. There is an annual walking competition. It's where 100 boys sign up to compete for the prize. The prize is basically anything that the winner wants. However, in order to win, each contestant must walk at a constant pace of 4 miles per hour. If someone happens to slow down or stop, they are issued a warning. Once they have been given 3 warnings, they are out of the game. They aren't just disqualified though, they are given a ticket. In simple terms, that means that they are shot. The last person standing out of the 100 contestants wins. In this book, there is a consistent theme of hopefulness. None of the boys expected or even thought about the fact that they can be part of the 99 contestants who don't make it to the end, even though it was a highly possible outcome. The concept of failure, as in death, wasn't something anyone was really able to wrap their heads around until they were close to their final warning or until they saw someone close to them lying lifelessly on the track. While reading this book, my first thought was, how is it possible that the contestants didn't think about the fact that they could possibly be shot? How did being hopeful overpower the very possible reality of the situation? To better understand this, I applied it to my life. How would I think in a situation where I have my eyes on the prize? Would I pay any attention to the possibility of failure, and if so, how would I come to terms with it? Reflecting on my personal experiences, I realized that at times it's hard for me to accept failure when I've spent so much time working tirelessly on something in expectation to achieve a positive outcome. My question always comes to be, what did I do wrong in the process? When I retrace my steps in attempts to dissect what part of the process I lacked in, I always find something to point out. However, I don't realize what I did was the best I could do in that moment. It's easy to think about the past and raise questions about specific actions. Although the contestants who were out of the walking competition didn't have the opportunity to retrace their steps and think about where they think they messed up, their performance was the best that they could do in that very moment. The fear and the thought of failure can distract from understanding the likelihood of actually failing. Sometimes I get so caught up in being hopeful that I don't realize hope should encourage me, not blind me. Likewise, in the book, all the contestants hoped to win the prize. This hope encouraged them to take part in a dangerous competition and kept them going. It's human nature to ignore that failure is a possibility when you work really hard for something. From the countless interactions I've had with failure, regardless of if they were big or small, I've conditioned myself to accept that failing isn't necessarily a bad thing. Instead, I should learn from my failed attempts and work even harder to improve. The hardest part for me was the first step, which was accepting failure. I had to understand that acceptance doesn't mean that I'm okay with the outcome. It means that it's something I'm going to have to work with for the time being. The best way for me to practice acceptance of failure was knowing that I have the power to get up and work harder the next day. I should use acceptance of a situation that isn't ideal for me as a fuel to inch closer to my ultimate goal. This mindset has made me stronger and has given me the power to be fearless in the face of failure. Going back to the quote I started my speech off with, he found himself still with too many questions and not enough answers. I've realized that it isn't important to raise questions on past actions that made up a failed attempt because these questions lead to a never-ending spiral of what-ifs and regrets. Instead, I should view failure as a source that makes me strive to become more driven and motivated to reach new heights. Aside from failure, a significant amount of credit for my personal growth goes to many wonderful people in my life. You know who you are. Thank you so much for all you've done for me. Thank you.